Good morning, everybody. Today we'll be studying The Phantom Lunch by Saki. It is the first chapter in semester 5 of compulsory English. So, to start with, this particular short story is written by Saki, and it is a pen name for H.H. Munro. And when we talk about phantom means imagination, and luncheon means formal lunch. So this story is about an imaginative lunch. So first, talking about the author Saki is known for his humorous satires. So when we talk about the story, this story starts with a conversation between two people, that is Sir James and his wife, Lady Drac Menton. So the theme of the story is greed. So this story is based on the theme of greed, where the people are basically hungry for food, but they are depending on some other people for money to get that food, to get that lavish food. So this story starts with a conversation between Sir James and his wife, Lady Drank Manton. I'll give you a short gist, and then you can read the story from Exploring New Horizons. That is the textbook for semester 5. So Sir James was a respectable and a wealthy man in society, and like other powerful Englishmen of his time, he used to take favors and use his influences and connections to win votes. He was in politics. So he informed his wife that Smithy Dubbs. So Smithy Dubbs is another character in this story. So he informed his wife, Lady Drankminton, that Smithy Dubbs is coming to town and she should take them for a luncheon. And luncheon is a formal and a lavish lunch. So when Lady Drankminton heard about this, she refused to do that. He explained her that it was necessary to keep them happy, as their influences in communities and committees would help him win votes, as he was in politics. So Lady Drankminton started recalling him that they all were part of a club and they hardly took part in anything other than being present at the time of the lunch. So same thing, where they are greedy about food, but they are not there to pay money. So she exclaimed how greedy they were and always looking for an opportunity to be invited by others at expensive high-class restaurants for a 6-course meal. She told she had given similar luncheons to other wealthy women of the society, but Smithy Dubbs were difficult to be tolerated. She even tried passing off this on her sister Millie. So here comes in the other character, that is Millie. Millie is Lady Drankminton's sister. So Millie immediately refused, as everybody was telling her that she looks similar to Lady Drankminton. Millie then informed Lady Drankminton that I'll be going to a lunch at Carlton. Carlton is a hotel, and she'll be going on the same day, so she couldn't entertain them. This gave an idea to Lady Drankminton to how to tolerate 3 sisters with the surname Smithy Dubbs. So on the lunch day, Lady Drankminton did some changes in Millie's appearances, as she was transformed completely. So Millie, acting as Lady Drankminton, met the sisters at a club and suggested Carlton for lunch. The 3 sisters happily agreed and started imagining high quality fresh food that they'll be getting this food. And then Lady Drankminton went to the hotel and she made some changes in her appearances as well. So she ordered food and it was brilliant and a good food. The 3 sisters spoke less and concentrated more on eating, as they were there only for eating. Still, they talked about politics when one of the sisters mentioned some topic about a particular act, that is, about politics. So Lady Drankminton confidently told that she was hardly interested in politics and she could hardly understand that. And it was little confusing for sisters, because Lady Drankminton's husband, that is Sir James, he was in politics. So the sisters got surprised, and one of them told that Lady Drankminton spoke easily about that topic in a gathering. It was time for ladies to get surprised, and she told that suddenly, what has happened? She is not speaking anything about politics. So later, now it was time for Lady Drankumentin to give them a surprise, and that was, she told that she hardly remembers anything and she has lost her memory. And she did not recognize who were those ladies. She could only remember the invitation to lunch she got from them. That is Smithly Dubbs. The sisters tried to make clear that they were asked for the lunch indirectly, pointing towards the responsibility of paying the bill. So they were least interested in paying the bill. So Lady Drankumentin told she did not remember her name, and she remembered how they had praised that expensive restaurant and insisted her to go with them. So the sisters told her that she was Lady Drankumentin, on which Lady laughed and told they were exaggerating. So she recognized her and did not look like her because she had made changes in her look. She also told that Lady Drankumentin had just arrived in the restaurant, which gave a shock to those sisters. So Lady Drankumentin, that was Millie, who was arriving there, so they could see Lady Drankumentin nearing their table, and they all wanted to know the real identity of the person who did lunch with them. So suddenly the lady remembered her name. She said that I am Ellen Neagle. And Ellen Neagle was a part of ladies' brass polishing guild at that particular hotel. She is often invited to the club to see the brass polishing, and she had seen Lady Drankumentin there often, and the expensive good food and wine took away her memory because it was too good. She thanked them to be so kind enough to invite her to the luncheon. She then suddenly remembered that she is already getting late for work, and she slipped away. She went from there. So it was a nightmare for the sisters, and the bill amount shocked them because it was a 6-course meal. Then actually were very capable of paying luxury bills. It was already it was alright for them to spend huge amount to display their wealth, but to invite a middle class person, that is Ellen Neagle, in their high class network was intolerable to a greater extent. So the prank played by Lady Drankumentin and her sister Millie taught the lesson that they left politics, the sisters left politics, since they started doing something good for the society. So in short, the moral of the story was that the greed for anything is really bad. So you need to be independent, and you need to learn that how to build your own career in something important. Yes? So now this is a short story. So now we will be discussing the question answers. So the question answers, so the first question here is, what is Sir James Drankumentin's vocation? Vocation means what does he do? So he was into politics. So now Lady Drankumentin comes up with an unorthodox way of dealing with the miserly Mrs. Smithly Dubbs. Okay. So the next question is, who is referred to as carrying free food principles to a regrettable extreme? So what does this line mean? Means free food principles to a regrettable extreme. That is, you have this habit of being greedy and you use this free food principles, and then you come to an extent where it is very regrettable for you. So Smithly Dubbs is referred to as carrying free food principles to a regrettable extreme. So the next question is, why did Millie refuse to entertain the Smithly Dubbs? So Millie refused to entertain Smithly Dubbs as she was going to Carlton with her friends for a luncheon. Okay. So the next question is, how did Lady Drankumentin's prank affect the Smithly Dubbs? So the answer for this question is, so in the phantom luncheon, the irony means where you have to regret something you have done and it falls back on you. So being greedy and being, so they were there to, so in when the three sisters were there, so they were in a hope that Lady Drunkminton will pay their bills. But the story was that they have to fall in their own trap and they paid the bills for Lady Drunkminton. Okay? So in the Phantom Luncheon, irony is engaged at the expense of Smithly Dubb sisters who take advantage of their offers for help during political campaigns to be offered meals. By extension, this irony is at the expense of all women who participate in politics. So this prank was basically when the luncheon was over, so they left politics because of the prank and they started doing something good for the society. Okay, these are the answers in one sentences each. So the next part is you have to answer the questions in about 30 to 40 words. So the next question is, why does Lady Drunkminton object to meeting the Smithly Dubbs? So when Sir Jameson told his partner that Smithly Dubbs are back in town, so she said, I wish you should show them some attention. Ask them to lunch with you at Ritz or somewhere else. Ritz is also a hotel. So she replies that from the little I have seen of Smithly Dubbs, I don't think I want to cultivate their acquaintance. So cultivate means vikas karna. I don't want to meet them. Acquaintance means company. I don't want to meet them because I cannot see any progress after meeting them. Okay, so that's the reason Lady Drunkminton never wanted to meet Smithly Dubbs. Yes. So the next question is, what role does Millie play in the story? So the particular story, the Phantom Luncheon, when Sir James told that I don't want to you meet the ladies, because he wanted to grab some votes, and as they had a huge word in the communities for the votes and politics, so where Millie played a role, that Millie acted as Lady Drunkminton, which helped the real Lady Drunkminton to play a prank and teach them a lesson against greed. Okay, so the next question is, what is the twist in the story? So the luxury of dining for free, that is when you go out and you eat food for free, would have been very different from what comes to them as an unnerving experience with Ellen Nagel. So Ellen Nagel is the real Lady Drunkminton. So the greed returns in a setback where they cannot recover from that problem. On the other hand, the greed of Lady Drunkminton leads her to stop to unethical ways, which leave the Smithly Dubbs and they are amused that something this happened to them. Okay, so the next question is, how is the importance of hospitality stressed by Saki in the story? So Lady Drunkminton connives to make Dubbs pay for the grand luncheon after they have a 6-course meal at Carlton. She acts like she has a short-term memory loss and she hides her identity and makes her take the roles of a host who invite her to the dine-in at Carlton. So the sisters also feel themselves when on the delicacies they won't afford, they were there to pay for it. Okay, she played a prank on those 3 sisters. So the next question is, who is Ellen Nagel? So Ellen Nagel is basically the real Lady Drunkminton, but Ellen Nagel in the story is she's the part of the Ladies Brass Polishing Guild. So the club has employed her to come there, and she used to polish the brass fittings at the Hotel Carlton. Okay. So the next question is, so the next part is answer the following questions in about 150 words. So the first question is describe Lady Drankermenton's character. So these are long answer types. So here you have to describe the characteristics of Lady Drankermenton. So Lady Drankermenton and three Smithly Dubbs display a behavior quite awkward for their rank, because they were high society people, and it was very weird and confusing that they played these roles. Though unwillingly, Lady Drankermenton agreed to her husband's proposal to have lunch with those three sisters and be their host, but Sir Drankermenton, as a politician, wanted them to be pleased so as to have their votes. So Lady Drankermenton convenes to make Dubbs pay for the grand luncheon at the hotel after they have a lavish luncheon, multi-course meal at Carlton. So she acts that as she has a short-term memory loss, and she hides her identity, which makes the invitees the host, and she asks the three ladies that she has lost her memory, and now she is there. Now she is the part of the lady brass polishing guild, and she spins off from there. She goes away, and the ladies have to pay the bill. Though she is a smart lady, but she played a very wonderful role, which taught Smithly Dubbs that the greed for food, the greed for anything is bad. Okay. So the next question is what role does money and influence play in the story? So as Saki is known for the satires, okay, so he basically brings out the truth from the society, but in a humorous way. So Saki satirized at the same time the tendency for restaurant orchestras to play the same song and that of the diners to appreciate it to infinity. The later, they encouraged the former staff at the hotel. So the phantom lunch attacks the ardent search, that is on the part of the same people to be invited to a restaurant. So basically the money and the influence. So Sir James wanted that influence which those ladies had, but whereas money, so those ladies were rich, but they were not accepting that they helped the middle class women who were sitting besides them for a lunch. So they never wanted to accept that. So money and influence play a major role in the story. So the next question is examine the theme of greed in the story. So this is the most important question. So basically Saki uses satire to highlight the hypocrisy of high class in the society. So in the Phantom Luncheon, the women Lady Drankermenton and the three Smithly Dubbs display a behavior quite awkward for their rank and their status. Though unwillingly, Lady Drankermenton agrees to her husband's proposal to have lunch with the sisters and be their host. Whereas Sir Drankermenton, as a politician, wants them to be pleased so as to have their votes. Greed for votes compel him to convince his wife for something she doesn't like so. So Lady Drankermenton connives to make Dubbs pay for the grand luncheon after they have a lavish multi-course lunch at the hotel. She behaves as she has lost her memory and she hides her identity, which makes her invitees take the role of the host, and she became an invitee. The sisters also feel themselves well on the delicacies they won't afford if they were to pay for it. So the luxury of dining for free would have been very different from what comes to them as an unnerving experience, because they never wanted that Ellen Neagle who was a middle class woman to sit beside them for a lunch. So their greed results in a setback they are not able to recover from. On the other hand, the greed of Lady Drankerminton leads her to stoop to do unethical ways which leave the reader questioning as well as amused, because she has also opted for unethical ways in which she pranked the three ladies, which was also against her status and her rank. So this is all about the Phantom Lunch.